Do clothes make the man? The clothes maketh the man is an ancient saying. It's traceable all the way back to Greek philosophy. But is it true? In Swedenborg's Heaven and Hell, in this chapter, we read, "When I asked where the angels got their garments, they said, from the Lord, and that they received them as gifts, and sometimes are clothed with them unconsciously. They said also that their garments are changed in accordance with their changes of state." Clothes don't make the man. Really, they express the person. And anyone who's aware of that can make use of the way they dress to communicate something about themselves which may be quite fanciful. So we dress up for a job interview to make a good impression. Or else we might dress down to make others feel comfortable, or even to get them to show us pity. I remember my dad telling me about an old guy he knew who made a fortune from scrap metal. He'd made so much money, in fact, that he drove a Rolls Royce, but he never drove it to work because everyone would then expect him to pay top dollar for something that he could otherwise get for free. So instead, he'd drive an old busted up car and wear dirty and ragged clothes. Elsewhere in paragraph 181, Swedenborg writes, "That the garments of angels do not merely appear as garments, but really are garments, is confirmed by the fact that angels not only see them, but actually feel them, that they have many garments, that they take them off and put them on, that they care for those that are not in use, and they put them on again when they need them." As I read this chapter, I realise that we can look at the idea of correspondences and wonder how and why it works, or if there's any substance to it at all. Consider, for example, the meaning of a belt. Exodus chapter 28 describes the robes of the high priest. And Swedenborg writes, "A belt means a common bond to ensure that everything has the same end in view." He cites the story of Jeremiah chapter 13. Jeremiah is told to go and buy a linen belt and put it around his waist, but the Lord tells him, "Do not let it touch water." Jeremiah does this, and then he receives a further instruction. "Take the belt you bought and are wearing around your waist, and now go to Perath and hide it there in a crevice in the rocks." And so he does that. And then later the Lord says, "Go now to Perath and get the belt I told you to hide there." And so he says, "So I went to Perath and dug up the belt and took it from the place where I'd hidden it, but now it was ruined and completely useless." Then again, there's the requirement of the children of Israel to eat Passover fully clothed and ready for travel. In Exodus 12 we read, "And thus you shall eat it, with a belt on your waist, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. So you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover." You see, a belt serves a practical function. So surely its symbolism is somewhat arbitrary, and any piece of clothing could fulfill the same symbolic function, surely. Well, no. For Swedenborg, the symbolism, the correspondence, is tied up with the function. He writes, "This is clear from the meaning of a belt, or a girdle, as a common bond, for it gathers together, encloses, holds in connection with itself, and strengthens everything within, which without it would fall apart and drift away." Later on he writes, "The natural man can scarcely be brought to believe that such things are meant, because he finds it difficult to put aside the natural idea of a girdle, and in general of garments, and instead adopt a spiritual idea, which is that of good, holding truths in connection with itself. As always, you're welcome to read along with us if you'd like, or read ahead if you prefer. You may have comments you'd like to share with us in the comments below. Enjoy the journey.